with the Falcons, and I don't understand how this team isn't good. And I say that I know we have defensive woes.
Yep.
And I know coverage has been tough. We've had injuries. But on the offensive side of the ball, if we can't stop people, at least we should be able to put up points. Sanu, hella consistent. You have the best receiver, in my opinion, in the NFL, in Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Ryan can get the ball there, and sometimes should make the. He's been making some weird decisions lately, but it's still Matt Ryan. You got Devontae Freeman back there. You got Ito Smith after trading or letting Tevin Coleman go. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense why this team can't put up points to then help out the defense. There's no reason for the Falcons to have the record that they have right now. I'm just gonna go with it. It's the curse. That's it. But in all reality, ever since 28-3, this organization has not been the same. It doesn't matter how many times you want to put up in brotherhood, all these slogans. All it is you're masking the pain and not addressing the issue of what happened to this organization. That Super Bowl has hurt us a lot more than what people want to really admit. It's a ghost in the building. It's the elephant in the room. And we aren't over that hurdle. And we got to stop doing these slogans. Aren't helping nothing. I could do up as many slogans as I want, bring in a marketing team, but it's not going to change what's inside the building. That's it.
I'm going to compare it to something, and some people might extrapolate this in a different way if they want to. That's all good. It's like you getting to the finish line with a significant other, and all of a sudden things fall apart, right? Say you guys got engaged and then the engagement gets broken off. So then you kind of jump back out there, you find somebody new, things are going well. People ask you about it. Then they kind of don't want to ask you. Time goes on, so they kind of stop asking you about it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, he seems fine, right? It seems good. Or whatever you want to say. To your point, though, in reality, what the person did is just try to patch up what was the void, right?
Right.
Instead of truly addressing what happened and also how to move forward.
We put a flex seal over this crack that we got, large gaping crack that is leaking.
Exactly.
And we put a flex seal patch just like the commercial, and we're holding on with that right now. But it's not working.
And to me, the biggest issue, right, is not biggest issue. I hate to say that. I think Dan Quinn has done a pretty good job.
I do too.
I think at some point, though, you have to look at what happens from 28-3. The fact that whatever happened in those last from 10 minutes on in the third quarter to the end of the game, he was shell-shocked just like we all were. We don't win the game. The next year, right, we bring in a new OC because Kyle Shanahan leaves. And I think the thing that to your point, I always go back with is Dan Quinn is a defensive guy. We're up 28-3, and the defense couldn't get a stop.
Correct.
Obviously, a week 5 game against the Texans isn't as big as the Super Bowl, but the Falcons could not stop Deshaun Watson last week.
At all. 41 points in fantasy.
He did whatever he wanted to do. And at some point, you can bring in different OCs. You can start calling the plays. You can do whatever. At some point, we have to say, Dan Quinn's defense has not figured out a way to help, to your point, a really, really good offense maximize what it is, right? The defense can't get stops. Our offense then is put in positions where they're backed up. And then if the offense stalls out, then the defense is back on the field, and they're going to score. It's just really bad synergy.
It's throwing it really is.
So to me, at this point, it's all on Dan Quinn.
Yeah. And like you said, I think Dan Quinn has done a good job. And I know people were calling for his head. And I like that Arthur Blank came right out and said, no, I'm not thinking about it. we all know he's thinking about it, but
Of course.
he cools it off, and obviously that'll go to the postseason or to the end of the season, and then whatever happens. But at least he's giving DQ the rest of this season with no apparent stress.
I think that's fair too.
It's very fair. First off, shout out to Arthur Blank. I don't know when this man's going to get a statue in the city of Atlanta for everything he's done, but shout out to Arthur Blank. Does it the right way, from how he's handled Home Depot to how he's to how he's helped the city. I mean, Arthur Blank been doing the right things, and then bringing out the model for family first pricing in Mercedes-Benz stadiums. But that's whatever. That's on another point. But yeah, DQ has done a good job, but you said it exactly. I'm not gonna, parrot exactly what you said again, but he's gotta wrangle in this defense. Makes no sense, and we'll see with him being the play caller now if that will change. Obviously, Texans was a very bad game, very bad showing.
It was embarrassing.
But yeah, I mean, go to the Super Bowl as a head coach. The head coach's position is you hear in the headset, "Hey, it's 2nd and 3. I want to run a 7-step drop play action." The hell you just say? What? What'd you say now, Chuck? What'd you say, Charlie? No, do not give the ball to Freeman. Give the ball to Freeman. That's what you gotta X these plays out. You are the final trump card. You use it, you can veto whatever you want to do. That's what you gotta do as a head coach. You make them tough decisions. But some people don't got it in the blood, Some people, like when they play NCAA or Madden, you're like, I could do this audible, but I feel like I've done this audible too many times. They know it's going. So I'm just gonna hope this play works that I chose. And then you end up throwing picks and you make the wrong decision because you don't got the gall. You don't got the wherewithal to make that right decision, to have it in your gut and be like, you know what? If I mess up, but I don't think I will because it's the right call. And he hasn't done that.
Yeah, agreed.
Or maybe, maybe he has been doing it and it's been the wrong calls. But Falcons have just been very disappointing. What also is disappointing is seeing it's really starting to annoy me with these announcers and pundits. Like for the Browns, OBJ they're talking about trading OBJ, blah, 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 blah. Why create unrest for a team just because you can make a headline? I don't like that. Like, yeah, Baker had a bad game. He's been bad. We can say that. Yeah, okay.
I love Baker. I think he's been bad.
I do too. But Baker had a bad game versus the Niners. One of those picks wasn't his. But he's made some bad decisions.
That changes the game too.
It completely changed the game. Callaway, it was a slant. I mean, ball's a little bit on his hip, but he threw it low, so you should be able to corral it, fall into the end zone. That would have brought it to a 1-score game, and then
they'd have been down 4. Yeah,
yeah, and then instead they pick that and run it back all the way past the 50. But I don't like all these pundits coming out and like, I think Colin Cowherd started it. I think they should trade OBJ. Trade him to like Washington to get a lineman. Would you rather have a lineman to block for Baker? They do need a lineman, but you don't trade OBJ. OBJ is just as good as having a lineman for how you can stretch the field if you run the right plays, Freddie Kitchens.
So thank you. There's the issue, right? Now, that offensive line is not good, but the issue is, and we've said this multiple times on the pod at the beginning of the season, can Freddie Kitchens, with all that talent and everything and all the expectation, be able to handle and manage all that? And so far, he has not passed that, right? And the thing that I don't understand, right? OBJ can get open almost every other. So can Landry. Like those guys can get open at any time. Then you now bring Callaway back, who's just an absolute burner, right? Mm-hmm. They've got 2 pretty good tight ends, and then you've got Nick Chubb. Like, how are you not devising an offense that is just the ability to get these guys into space at all times?
Exactly.
And Baker's a guy that can also create and get out of the pocket and do things. Like, their play calling has just been absolutely atrocious to begin the season.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the biggest issue right now. That and the fact that the offensive line has not played well.
I agree. I think Kitchens has the ability, or the Browns offense has the ability to do what the Patriots do. I'm not saying you have Tom Brady back there, but you can literally pick your poison. Who do you think that you can stop today? Because if you think you could stop them, I'm going to go over here. We don't care who's getting the ball, but Freddie Kitchens is why are you running all these end rounds, double passes with OBJ? Like
it's a force feed. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like we stop it. Just let the game come to these players naturally. If Jarvis goes off 1 week for 100, all right, cool. You get the dub. OBJ goes off, cool. All these players care about is getting the dub. And then if they're like, all right, and we have the offense figured out, it can be anybody's day, or we can all go off with the only constant being Nick Chubb because that boy needs the rock and just runs. Then you roll into week 8 or week 10, you get Kareem Hunt back. Now you have a quadruple monster, however you want to do this, and you can go backfield Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You can't stop the swing passes. You'll have open lanes, bigger lanes opening up. There's so much you can do with this offense, and it makes no sense that you haven't figured it out. But then everybody's like, oh, now they need to put OBJ up for the trade block. No, not at all. That's the dumbest thing.
Right. It's like, how is he the issue?
Right. They always make OBJ out to be the issue, and all this brother does is come into work hard, and then his emotions do come out sometimes on the sideline. But you've never seen OBJ except for the boat. The boat was bad. I don't know why they
though.
Why is it? But why take a trip down? Well, they won the wild card or not the wild card. Yeah.
They won the wild card.
They won the wild card. Then they took the trip down to Miami. Everybody got the Timbs on the boat. Like this is any given Sunday. And then they lose the next week. And you're like, why did everybody just go down on Thursday or Wednesday to Miami for no reason? So
it was like, actually, you know what? I think they had a bye.
That is right. They did have a bye.
So they played in the division game, excuse me. To your point, it looked like a genuine 2000s video.
Yeah.
And
all you needed was somebody out the front with a silk shirt open like this, arms wide open like it's the Titanic, and then Leo and Titanic. I didn't get it.
Yeah.